What is up, gamers? Welcome back to a new Starfield video, man. Now you're either having a pretty good time in Starfield or a not so good time in Starfield, man. Either way, the question for today's video is this: do you think or feel that Starfield should have either been a third-person perspective game with a better interaction system with characters in this game and in this universe, or should it have solely been a first-person game, right, that employed the cinematic camera angles or interaction system the same way that Cyberpunk 2077 did it? Because I feel, in my opinion, that CD Projekt Red really mastered that aspect of Cyberpunk 2077, and I think that either one would have improved the storytelling and the cohesiveness of the storytelling in Starfield. But that's just my opinion. What do you guys think? Do you think it would have improved the game? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Are there any takes? Let me know in the comments down below. But the reason why I say that it would have enhanced the experience of Starfield is that the current interaction system that has been employed by Bethesda here is the same old Bethesda system that we've had in Fallout 4. And unfortunately, at times it does work here. When the lighting and everything is on a particular companion, they look great when you're interacting with him with that one-in-one face-fronting camera. But most of the time it just does not work, and it completely pulls the player from the immersion, and I found myself experiencing that quite a few times. Now let me explain why I think it should have been third person or a first person employing that cinematic camera angles. Let's take a look at the first scene. Okay, so over here we got the scene that where we had our first encounter with the Starborn. So minor spoilers, but this is in the main quest, and this is where the main story really picks up. So tensions are high and an emergency constellation meeting has been called. All the members are now gathered around the table. But just look at this particular scene. You can feel the tension, you can feel the immersion. Each character is giving their particular take on the matter as to what the Starborn as to what they are, where they came from, or are they alien life forms or whatever, you know. With everyone sitting around the table here and everyone is on the screen, everyone is interacting with one another, the game feels more alive. And I think they should have employed this if they just went with a third person mode, and as soon as your dialogue option comes, it could have remained with this camera angle. However, the immersion is about to break as soon as Sarah grabs you by the ears and yanks your face into that first person camera view, man. I mean, just look at the scene. I feel like I'm part of the conversation. My player is part of the conversation, part of the world. Like I said, sometimes it works, but most of the time it just does not. Now we're stuck in this first person camera view, stuck onto one camera. We do not see the rest of the constellation members. They could have left it as in the previous scene where everyone is around the table. You could feel the seriousness of the situation, and then we switch again to Barrett, and so forth it goes, and so on it goes. I just think that it could have been done better in the third person view, in my opinion. But let me know if you agree there. Now let's switch to another example. Right here we are on the planet Constipia something. I'm not entirely sure I'm saying that correctly, but this is part of Sarah's loyalty quest, and it's really one of the most touching and sad moments in the story, man. But again, here the camera angle completely takes away from the emotion and the immersion of the game. There we go again, immediately into this camera view. Now this is a very sad moment. It's that when you find out that this girl has been living all alone because her parents died, and look there, now we got the shoulder view of Sarah, which is just mind-boggling as to why they went with this. It could have been employed so much better. It would have had so much more emotion if every character was on the screen at the same time interacting with one another. But this is what we got, and it switches to each character. You get your dialogue choice, whatever you choose to say, and it continues to play out like that. And unfortunately here, the story is so good here, but at this point, this over the shoulder, I just can't take it, man. It really breaks the immersion. Now what's crazy is, just look at this next section. So here I am returning after getting the cog tags, but look what happens now. I enter, Sarah's sitting there. Now Sarah gets up, and she and Sona starts to communicate in third person view. Now to me this looks so much better because all three of us are on the screen, we are in the room, you know, it's more immersive. And now we are discussing on whether or not she should come with us. And now the camera switches yet again, and there it happens again. Now I know people are going to say that I am nitpicking, but like I said many times on this channel, man, we give praise where praise is due, and we gotta criticize where critique is needed. Now let's go to the next scene. Let's go to the next scene. Again, this is the start of her loyalty quest, right? We had to see this admiral in his office. He's a UC admiral. Look at this. Now here I entered the office and I did not toggle the talk button. They just automatically started talking themselves. But look at this. Does this not look so much more natural? So much more immersive? Just the characters on the screen standing around and communicating. But now it breaks again. Yet again. Why could he not just have turned like that and still have the third person over the shoulder view? And I could have chose my dialogue, but then all three of the characters would have been on the screen. It looks more natural, it's more immersive. Why Bethesda? Why? Now let me give you an example of how Cyberpunk 2077 employs the cinematic interaction camera angle, whatever you want to call it. Now just look at this. This is not Cyberpunk, right? So spoilers if you haven't finished the game yet, but this is much later on in the game. I'm entering as Johnny Silver, entering the room. I'm choosing dialogue while I'm walking in, right? I'm speaking to both. I'm interacting with the environment, right? There's no camera switches just to one particular character. The camera is open to both characters on the screen. And this is, look here, and now I got my dialogue choices. I can either look at that guy or I can look at her. It doesn't matter. I can look at the tail, I can look wherever I want, but I still got my dialogue choices. Why did Bethesda not choose to implement this kind of interaction system? I do not know, man. But I mean, look at that. Does that not look more immersive? Does that not play out more natural, more seamless than switching from camera to camera depending on how many characters you are interacting with? That just looks so much better. And this is just one example, right? This is just one example that I'm going to use from Cyberpunk. But I feel like if the game employed more interaction scenes like this instead of the front facing view camera where the character is like literally pulling your face towards them, it would have been so much better. The story would have flowed so much better, because I've seen a lot of people saying that the main quest and the main stories, whatever, they are mid or they're just bad. But I think it's not that. I think it's the direction of how the interactions happen. I think that's the problem. Yes, the story is not the greatest, but it would have played out much better and more seamlessly if camera types like this were employed. Now, like I said in my previous videos, why I do not think that Starfield is a generational game is because Bethesda did not innovate its formula. It played it safe with Starfield. Instead of taking risks, Bethesda played it safe. They only refined the systems, but they did not innovate their systems. And at the end of the day, many developers take inspiration from various other games, and I feel like Bethesda should have taken inspiration from games like these that simply mastered the first person interaction sequence, or even the third person perspective. They could have employed these different mechanisms or systems to enhance the immersion. Unfortunately, they did not do that. But yeah, let me know in your comments down below, guys. Do you agree with me? Do you think they should have gotten something like this that's more seamless, that is more smooth, coherent, instead of the front-facing camera pulls that we consistently get throughout this game, man? Yeah, let me know your thoughts down below, guys. That's just my opinion. Like I said, I do love the game. At the end of the day, I love the game. I love playing it. Do I think it's a masterpiece? No. There's a lot of things missing. This is one of them that I've come across and that I think would have been so much better had it been employed, you know. But yeah, that's my thoughts, guys. That's my opinion. Let me know if you agree. If not, yeah, I do appreciate you guys, the feedback and the engagement, the interaction with the views. I do appreciate it. As I said, I do this as a hobby, so when I get that engagement, I see that engagement, man, it really it really puts a smile on my face. So thank you to all of you, and as always, guys, stay safe out there. I'll catch you on the next video. Peace.